Hello everyone, I wish all are doing good and are safe. Today we are going to deal with the second part of the chapter. In this, we'll read about the separation of mixtures, its need, and the various separating techniques in which we can separate the mixtures. Separation of mixture. In this, we can identify the different ways of separating mixtures. We can determine how the different ways are used to separate mixtures. We can also identify in which the magnetic separation, filtration, evaporation, distillation, and paper chromatography can be used in daily life. Now, the question arises is why is it important to separate mixtures? Can't we use the impure substances? Since mixtures form part of our everyday life, the separation of these mixtures into their component parts is important. Now, for example, purification of drinking water is must. We cannot drink water full with the impurities. Making of filter coffee. Now imagine the situation if you were stuck on a desert island without any drinking water. Your knowledge of separating mixtures could help you to make pure water from seawater, isn't it? Now, what is the principle of separation of these mixtures? Separation of components from a mixture is based on the principle that each constituent has some different physical or chemical properties to other constituents. It depends in what the mixture is separated, how or with what. Obviously each and every components are different, so according to that their properties will also differ, and depending on this we generally separate the mixtures. Now let's see what are the techniques of separation. First one is hand picking. It is the simplest method of separation of substances. This method is used only when the unwanted material is in small quantity. Moreover, the shape, size, or color of the unwanted material is different from that of the useful materials. For example, pebbles, broken grains, and insects are separated from rice, wheat, and pulses by this hand picking method. Let's see the video and understand it how it is done. So see students, from this we can easily separate the pebbles from rice as the color, size and shape of it is different from rice. Next method is sieving. It is also known as sifting. This method is used to separate a dry mixture which contains substances of different sizes by passing it through a sieve, a device containing tiny holes. Students, keep it in your mind that the mixture must be dry, because from these holes of the sieve only dry things can pass. So let's see how this is done. But before doing that, the main principle of it is dependent on the size of the particles. In this, we are allowing the flour particles to pass through the holes of the sieves, and the bigger impurities remain on the sieve. Next method is winnowing. It is used to separate the heavier and lighter components of a mixture by wind or blowing air. This method is commonly used by farmers to separate lighter husk particles from heavier seeds of grain. Now let's check it out how actually this method is done. See, the lighter particles are moving apart from the person and is depositing in one place, but the heavier, the useful part is depositing just below the leg of the man because heavier particles cannot move far apart. The next method is magnetic separation. In this, magnets they attract certain types of metals, for example, iron and nickel. We can use this method if we want to separate mixtures that consist of magnetic materials and substances that are non-magnetic. This method is mainly used in the recycling industry to separate waste materials that are magnetic. Now let's check how this method is done. See, in this the magnet is attracting the magnetic particles towards it and we have separated the mixture. So students, I hope up to this you have understood well, and the next part of this chapter will be continued in the next video. Thank you.